Brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com. Now, here is your host, Johnny Radio himself, John Harden.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into a little Sports 56 happy hour. What a busy, busy show we got today. Yes, SEC Media Days, they are finally here. And you know, it's kind of the unofficial kickoff to the season I like to think of. It's down in Hoover, Alabama. Brett Norsworthy's down there. And over the next 4 days, you are going to hear from every SEC head coach, as well as 2 players from every school. Since Media Days didn't happen in 2020, this is also going to be the first Media Days for 8 coaches. Shane Beamer, Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, Mike Leach, Clark Lee, who we got to talk about, who's he's made his coaches' jobs hard as all get out. Sam Pittman, Brian Harsin, and of course, Eli Drinkowich. Now, we got a lot of stuff to get into as well as fun stuff. No cocaine fell through anybody's houses this weekend, did they, Gabe Kuhn? I couldn't find any stories.
Not that I saw.
So did they hire a logistics manager, you think?
I don't know. Or,
I put my application
I was
going to
say, did your application get looked at?
I hope it did. I really did. I put it out on Twitter. Thought they were going to reach out to me. So far, no word. Anything else washes up on shore, falls through somebody's house, I'm sure I'm going to get a call.
What'd you add to your resume to get them to try to look at it?
That's very, you might have
without incriminating yourself. Try to tell me.
At Johnny_radio to check out. I was conversing back with our old buddy CJ Hurt, Conradicalness. But Gabe Kuhn's in the house. Follow him at G_Kuhn71. Follow me at Johnny_radio. Don't forget the messages on Facebook or at the text line 901-360-8255. We also got a Predator prospect. His name is Prokop. Guess what? He announced he's gay. He is not in the major leagues quite yet, but these announcements are coming more and more frequent. I'm kind of curious. Do they carry as much weight as they did back in the day of Michael Sam, even though he didn't play in the National Football League, Carl Nassib, or is this just kind of something that just helps somebody feel better about themselves? Because I'm wondering, a lot of people still today blink an eye at this, Gabe?
It's interesting because you don't see a lot of it. Active players in these big American sport leagues, it just doesn't happen very often. I think people do sort of look at it and see, okay, this is very, very few. So every time that this news comes across, it's surprising to a certain extent still.
I guess maybe I've been around for so long, I ain't surprised about nothing, man. But I will also say this. Mike Irvin, guess what he said he'd do? He said he would fight a teammate that is unvaccinated. That's right. The Cowboys' threshold is absolutely ridiculous. It is really, really low. And you know Cole Beasley, don't you, Mr. Gabe Kuhn? Mike Irving said he would fight a teammate that didn't get vaccinated.
Irvin, right?
I said Irvin.
Yeah, you said Irving.
I said Irvin first.
Irving.
I said Irvin first. I said Mike Irvin. I even wrote down no G right here.
No G. I have it in my notes. But no, I saw that. I agree with a lot of what he said.
Would you watch Cole Beasley and Mike fight?
I think that'd be pretty unfair.
Why? You think Cole's younger?
He's tiny.
I know he's tiny, but Mike's old, and he's done a lot of yay back in the day. A lot.
Right. But
Dude,
he still looks like and I know that, it's all relative based on what his body's been through already, but he looks like he's still in relatively good shape.
He looks like he's in relatively good shape. By the way, also, since I mentioned the NHL, do you know they're not going to they're going to take a break for the Winter Olympics? News or not news? News or not news? Or does anybody know about hockey in the Mid-South? Oh, Terry Davis does, and he's going to join us at 1:30. We got Brett Norsworthy down at Hoover at 1:45, and I'm going to ask my man Jake Crane, who's his favorite Johnson. Who is your favorite Johnson? Jake Crane from SEC Media Days. We got a lot of stuff going on. Plus, I got to tell you real quick, the SEC Media Day schedule. Today, it's Florida, LSU, South Carolina. Tomorrow, Georgia, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. Wednesday, you got Alabama, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and Clark Lee's crazy self in Vanderbilt. There's two guys that came with Vanderbilt. Do you think they got their number, Gabe? That's just kind of a little tease for what we're going to talk about with Clark Lee. He has made his coach's job so dead-gum hard it doesn't even make sense. Arkansas on Thursday, along with Auburn. And Missouri is going to close things out. But we got to get into some wild, wild, wild stuff. We have a very busy leadoff. We have a packed show today. Again, SEC Media Days are in full effect, and we got to thank all of our SEC Media Days sponsors. All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Belly Acres. You want some good burgers, baby? Check out Belly Acres. And have you had those golf stick pretzels? Because I ate some this weekend. Those things are straight fire, yo. Straight fire. Like, I'm not a big chip guy. So, like, when my man Brett Norsworthy gave me some of these golf stick pretzels, I was like, let me just, test drive them out. Thought I'd eat one of them. Ended up eating the whole bag and took 4 bags with me home this weekend, and they're all gone. They are so good. Jason's Deli. A lot of times you meet up with Stats over there at Jason's Deli. Great deli sandwiches, soup, ice cream for the kids. Memphis Tourism Sports Council speaks for itself. Mossy Oak Golf Course. Get your golf on, Mossy Oak style. Of course, Ronnie Grizzani's and the Commissary in Germantown in Collierville. Now, Gabe Kuhn, we're about to jump in the box. We're going to talk Major League Baseball. We're going to talk about some moves. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals. Oh, my gosh. Gabe Kuhn, if I ask you this question, I heard this over the weekend. It has to do with Giannis. Somebody back in the day used to say LeBron James is Magic in Karl Malone's body. Because Karl was yoked. I don't know if you remember the mailman.
I remember Karl.
Dude, Karl was yoked. LeBron James is yoked. But, LeBron, in the yoked Karl Malone body, played like Magic. I heard this weekend, and I thought it was pretty good. If that's LeBron James, is Giannis Magic in Kareem's body? Dude, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was like 7 feet tall, could do the sky hook. But you know what? He wasn't the most athletic person on the court. Magic Johnson can do everything when it comes to basketball. He can pass, he could defend, he could do everything. And if you mix Magic and Kareem, that's what you get is Giannis. Is that the baby of Magic and Kareem, Giannis? The Greek freak. Do you like that?
I don't mind that at all. I thought it was pretty good. I think Giannis, though, when you look at explosion, it's hard to compare him to anybody else. I mean, explosion to the rim and
to the rim
and how explosive he is in general. I don't know if there's anybody in the history that we can really compare that to.
Yes, he is. He's very explosive. So is by the way, I don't know if you know this. Let's just be honest. Do you know who was the most explosive basketball player of all time? Wilt Chamberlain, baby. Dude was amazing at a lot of things. Now, I got to tell you who else is amazing. MemphisFarmers.com, the Gatlin agency. They got you covered from head to toe. They got your car. They got your house. They got your life. They got your pets, traveler's insurance, life insurance. They cover you all day long, all day strong. They're like Drew Holiday playing defense right now in the last couple games of the finals. All up over you or Giannis, since he had that amazing block. It's just been awesome. But MemphisFarmers.com and the Gatlin Agency, they got you covered. Not only do they have you life insurance style, they can help you with your business goals, paying for your educations, maybe your financial security going forward, and if you need to do a little saving and some investing, they got you covered. Call or text them at any time at 901-235-1176. That's 901-235-1176. Or go get that fast quote at MemphisFarmers.com. Gabe, I'm hanging out in that box.
You had a good weekend this weekend?
I don't know who's listening or how to answer that question. I had a
yes or no. I mean,
I survived by burying myself in a bottle of Tito's. Sounds like a normal weekend, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I survived. Is that
out of the ordinary?
No, it's not out of the ordinary. But usually, I'm not just trying to maintain. Like, I got asked to do a lot of stuff. Have you ever seen me with a drill in my hand trying to hang up?
No. In fact, I don't think. Do you even actually have one?
No, I don't. I had to borrow it my neighbor's, of course. By the way, did you know that screws actually have
you have a screwdriver?
No, I don't. I don't have a nail. I don't have a screwdriver.
You have no tools at all.
All right, it's very simple. Before we get into the most important things, I don't drive a truck for one reason. I don't want friends calling me and asking me to move things. I don't have tools.
Even for money?
No, I don't like doing physical labor. I talk on the radio, bro. The only physical labor I do is
Never mind. All right, Bucks up 3-2 over the Suns. Game 5 was 123-119. Giannis has been phenomenal. Chris Middleton stepped up. Drew Holiday, even the last 2 games, has looked pretty good. Those 3 in Game 5 combined for 88 points on 58% shooting. But that doesn't mean that Devin Booker hasn't done all he can to keep the Suns in it. Game 4 loss, he had 42. Game 5 loss, he had 40. Game 6 will be tomorrow, and it will transition the series back to Milwaukee, where the Suns either win or they go home. What direction do you see this series going? Do you think the Suns are toast, or do you still give them a chance to win the series?
Well, I have to say, Devin Booker, Kendall Jenner is proud of you. You've been going out there and putting it in the hole to a 40-point clip lately. My man's just dominating. I'll give him some love. But my man, I got to be honest with you. How do you feel about Chris Paul? I don't feel this is more about the Suns collapsing. I don't feel that. I feel this is more about Milwaukee taking over. But I look at just the whole situation. Like, if you go out there, and I was listening to Eli Savoy talk about this. If you looked at the numbers for the Suns, you shoot 68.4% from downtown. You have a 55.2 field goal percentage. You shoot 90% of your free throws. Boom, bang, bing. You got it all going down. You got it rolling. And you only had 8 turnovers. How do you lose the game? How do you lose the game? Well, his name is Giannis. The other man's name is Drew Holiday. And Chris Middleton, when he shows up and even pretends to be Robin, not Batman, when he's Robin, the Bucks are almost impossible to beat. Coach Bud can't even screw this up. I'm telling you, I think Monty Williams is scratching his head going, uh-oh, we in trouble. Because you know what that scene's going to look like in Milwaukee? Going to have spray-painted green hair, people going crazy. Suns fan and 4 don't show up because you'll get the brakes beat off of you in Milwaukee. I don't think the Suns come home for a Game 7. They have not been able to win on the road, yet they've had two tries. They've had the lead in the fourth quarter. Then Devin Booker gets the foul. Giannis makes the great play. Right now, all the mo is with the Milwaukee Bucks. And Giannis is playing at a level. He's the best player on the court, period. And if his bandmates come along with him and start playing the tuba, they sound like a full-fledged band. Got the dude playing the bass guitar, whatever, backup singers. And that's what the Milwaukee Bucks are. They got the lead singer, and the whole band is now showing up.
You know who also showed up is the guy that you called before the series even started. Pat Connaughton has been great. 14 points in Game 5. Helped lead them to that win. I'm curious. The Suns, you mentioned it, 55% from the field, 68% from the 3, and lost. That's got to be demoralizing.
At home,
and now
too.
You have to travel to Milwaukee. It just seems very, very tough. You know what though, Johnny? I'm done making predictions on these NBA playoffs, these NBA finals. It has been so tough from start to finish to get a read on it, and that hasn't changed at all along the way. And by the way, CP3's foul on that lob.
That was kind of buster.
He's played too much basketball to be doing that. It could have been dangerous.
Giannis is so athletic.
Could have been dangerous one, and also just put your team in a really bad position to give him that and one. That was a bad play by CP3.
I do too. I think it was a bad play by Chris Paul, but I will also have to say this: Giannis is an athletic freak because he's doing this on a bad knee, and he made that look so easy. And it was like when Chris Paul shoved him, he just turned around.
What bad knee
back.
At this point? What bad seriously, knee? It never hurt.
And one other thing, and then we're going to move on. Do you realize the Bucks are 9-1 at home during the playoffs?
Yep.
Do you see them going 9-2, or do you not see them going 10-1 when this is Game 6 and you can wrap up this jaunt in front of your fans? Dude, I think they're going to be 10-1 in the finals at home.
I'm done with predictions. That's all.
Well,
I
just made one, buddy.
I'm done. Well, hey, I'm
book
cool
it.
Book it.
No,
Okay.
Devin, book it now.
Okay. All right, moving on. There's a report from the Houston Chronicle that the AAC, the American Athletic Conference, is having conversations about COVID-19 cancellations during the football season. But instead of it being like last season where the game would be postponed, now they're deciding if the team that causes the issues with COVID-19 would have to forfeit. Houston AD Chris Pesman says it's not decided yet, but it is likely. What do you think of this possibility?
I think this is about as dumb as a box of rocks. I realistically do. Did Mike Oresco get replaced by Mark Emmert? Because, damn, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard since he opened up his mouth. Let's just be real. Hold on. You made this analogy to me. I heard you say this. You said, could you imagine Cincinnati? They're having a great season. They're undefeated. They're playing Temple, who stinks. All of a sudden, a bunch of guys for Cincinnati get COVID. And now you have to get a loss from Temple because you had to forfeit because your team had a COVID outbreak. And by the way, I don't know if you know this. How many of you ever seen COVID? It's like a virus, yo. Like, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know who's got it. And just if you didn't realize, over the weekend, the Yankees had 6 players test positive for COVID-19. Did you know 5 of them were vaccinated, Gabe?
Yep, you can still catch it even though you're vaccinated.
Now, I do have to admit this. Boone came out over the weekend and said that the 5 that were vaccinated were completely asymptomatic, or a couple of them had little chills. The dude who wasn't vaccinated, he said sick as a dog. So, just saying, you can still catch it. But, dude, do you want to be sitting at home on vacation when you don't have to go to work for like 10 days, watching some TV, listening to me on the radio? Or do you want to be like praying to the porcelain god? Go get your arm double tapped.
But could you imagine if Cincinnati beats Miami of Ohio, beats Murray State, then beats Indiana and Notre Dame, goes 4-0, and then plays Temple first week of conference play and has to forfeit to Temple and gets their first loss that way after beating Notre Dame and Indiana in weeks 3 and 4. I mean, like, this is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Postpone the game, cancel it, do what you got to do, but don't add unnecessary losses to people's resume. All right, it means a lot. And also, the fact that you can have a vaccinated team. You can have a team that's probably 85% vaccinated, still have an outbreak. They can catch COVID-19. So are you going to punish them if they're vaccinated and they still catch it?
No.
It's stupid. I'm sorry.
The Delta Force, brother.
I know we're moving in a direction where we're trying to act like, oh, well, if you're not vaccinated, you're not doing your job. There can be teams that are vaccinated and still have to postpone and not play games.
Look at the New York Yankees.
So just a goofy thought, and if they decide to make this their protocol going forward, I'll be pretty disappointed in that. Now, MLB trade deadline is approaching. July 30th is the day. Only move we've really seen that's worth note. Jock Peterson traded to the Braves. He had a good weekend.
Yeah, he did. Did you see that he hit a double with runners on second, third?
Hit a bomb,
he hit a home run. He got up on second base, gave the he looked like a wizard.
Did well. But more deals will definitely take place here in the next 2 weeks. What moves would you like to see made, and what players should we expect to see moved?
Well, I would tell you very simply, a whole lot of Cubs are going to be moved. But you know what? I'm going to kind of look at this from a little bit different aspect. I'm going to sit here and say, first and foremost, Chris Bryant, I've said this very simple, he should go to the Mets. Why? Because it makes sense. You can't hit your way out of a wet paper sack. By the way, Jacob deGrom back on the 10-day DL. Did you see that? What is going on with that, man? Is this just like trying to keep him better, or because he's up front, or is he having arm issues?
Clearly having issues, man.
Damn, and he's having one of the best seasons in Major League Baseball history. But, bro, you send back J.D. Davis, you send back Jonathan Villar, maybe some kid coming up in your thing. Bang, bang, boom, Chris Bryant, save the Cubs a lot of money. You're going to look good. Now, Minnesota has a lot of moves that I think they should make. A whole lot of moves. Like, they need to get rid of a lot of people. One of those persons is Mr. Nelson Cruz. You know who needs him? The Athletics. They need somebody else with some more pop. They need a DH that can actually produce. And by the way, the Twins, no, he's 41 years old. It ain't like he's got a lot of baseball left in him. Get rid of him. Let him go to a contender. Let him do Nelson Cruz things. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. At least it does to me. And a couple other things that I absolutely love, Mr. Gabe Kuhn. Woo-wee, Starlin Marte. What do you think about the Yankees going and pick up the outfielder? Let me tell you who's doing not very well. Brett Gardner. Now, he is a Mr. Hustle. He is a Mr. Yankee. He does a whole lot of things on the baseball diamond, doesn't he? Well, you know what else he does? He plays bad baseball right now at this stage in his career. He's got no hair. Kind of reminds me of Eli Savoy running around out there. Looks just kind of like him if you just look at the top of their head. Gardner's got some more forearm muscles, and I think he's a lot faster than Eli. But, again, that's just what I leak. Now, I'm going to tell you this because you know I'm annoying. You know who Boston needs to go get? First place team right now that needs another bat. Did you watch the Yankees and Red Sox last night? Just bad baseball all around. Except for some of the young kids. They played pretty good that were up playing there with the Yankees. Why don't you go get Anthony Rizzo? Why don't you make a move to go get Anthony Rizzo? You hook up Anthony Rizzo. The Cubs, I know they're going to sell everybody, everything. But let's be real. Cordero, he's had it rough through 34 games in Boston. He raked at AAA. But there's a difference. When you go from AAA to the majors and the bigs, there's a little bit of learning curve. My man does not have it. He hadn't figured it out right now. He's striking out at like almost 1 out of every 7 at-bats. That's bad. Another move that I think needs to be made is very simple. What if the White Sox went out and got outfielder Joey Gallo? Joey Gallo can hit bombs. The White Sox with Jose Abreu, Mercedes, everybody out there, they like to hit bombs, don't you? Add a first baseman that can flat out yank and move Jose Abreu to DH. He keeps getting injured. He keeps running into players. He's had some knee issues. You kind of give him a little chance to relax, or you can put him in the outfield. You've had outfield issues. He can cover 2 positions, and he can absolutely mash. I like those, and I like Major League Baseball. But I also have to tell you, don't forget he gives you the first hour, and that's the Gallon Agency at MemphisFarmers.com. Go get a fast quote today from MemphisFarmers.com. Coming up next, we got Terry Davis. Don't forget at 1:45, we got Brett Norsworthy. He is live from Hoover. We're talking SEC Media Days, and then Jake Crane at 2 o'clock. Who is Jake's favorite Johnson? We're going to find out, because guess what's going on today at SEC Media Days? A whole lot of things, but if you don't know the schedule, it is Monday, July 19th. You have Florida, LSU, South Carolina, and I definitely want to know, who's your favorite Johnson in LSU? Let's find that out on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Grab lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. Get up and go in a 2021 Kia Rio 41 MPG Highway 0% and $239 a month. 2021 Kia Forte 0% and $268 a month. And get all-weather rugged and ready in 2022 Seltos $334 a month. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get top dollar for your Kia trade today and trade up at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All $29.99 due with signing. Rio Forte 60 months at 0%. Rio ME 403 MSRP 17,315. Forte ME 379 469. MSRP 19,040. Seltos N724 718 166 months at 1.9%. MSRP 24,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance with KMF for low APR. Excludes tax, file, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/2/2021. Dealer stock only.
The first name in Memphis Italian food, it's Ronnie Grizzani's in Regalia. Lunch, the Italian favorites with crisp, cold Miss Mary salad, lobster tower, fried green tomatoes, the crab stack, Monday through Saturday for lunch. Ronnie Grizzani's Catering, check out the lunch catering guide at RonnieGrizzani.com. The Elfo Special, salad, Italian bread for $14 per person. Ronnie Grizzani's, they'll bring it to you. 901-850-0191. Pick up a pan of lasagna at Ronnie Grizzani's at Regalia, or check out the bulk menu at RonnieGrizzani.com. Get your favorites at home. Chicken Alfredo, ravioli, Italian spinach, curbside pickup, delivery to your door. Free within 4 miles of Regalia. The bar, stay cool with the cocktail list. Steaks, the 8-ounce Gorgonzola and bacon wrap filet. Try it, thank me later. In High Point Grocery, Super Low in Spotswood and Goodman Road, and Buster's Liquors. Make lunch or dinner easy at Ronnie Grizzani's, a Memphis tradition since 1909.
Speaking of golf, this is Marty Fulton. You probably remember me from Holiday Golf, Whispering Woods, or Plantation. I'm a PGA Life member, and over the years I found whenever I advised Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spinsdorf about his golf game, whether it was about equipment or his swing, invariably he still couldn't hit the ball out of a paper bag. Mainly because he spent so much time selling homes. That's why people often say, when you want the job done, you call Sheldon.
Thanks, Marty. That's right. I spend far too much time on my house game than on my golf game. I tell people that they need to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. They need to find out the difference in what others do and my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling their home, have them contact me. Sheldon Rosengarten at 682-1868 or MemphisRelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or MemphisRelocate.com. Do it now.
Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981, 0.9% MSRP, $20,685. Sportage in 79,79540, 0% MSRP, $26,060. K5 NGO 95054, 0.9% MSRP, $25,840. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com. Here once again is Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. It is a beautiful Monday in the Mid-South. Man, it's been wet all week, by the way. I didn't get to play baseball yesterday. Having baseball withdrawals up over here, man. So if I'm a little sketchy, just know I haven't got my baseball fix in. But, man, what a beautiful weekend in the Mid-South. A lot of rain. Means it's very, very humid, but a lot of stuff going on, man. We got Tokyo Olympics going on. Somebody get that girl away from Simone Biles. I don't know if you heard this, but an alternate. Yes, she's just an alternate. Get her away. The gymnastics team is tested positive for the COVID. And during Hardenwood, we're going to talk about the beds in Olympic Village.
And also, Coco Gauff, tennis player, is not going to be participating in the Olympics. She tested positive for COVID-19.
Oh, my goodness. And so did somebody else and somebody else. And these Olympics are already doomed, it looks like. Except for, I'll tell you one thing, people are having fun on those beds over there. We'll talk about that later again. Of course, we also have SEC Media Days going on, and I got to thank all of our sponsors. Brett Norsworthy is going to join us after Terry D. So thank you, All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch, Belly Acres, Golf Sticks Pretzels. Man, don't forget Mossy Oaks Golf Course, Jason's Deli, Memphis Tourism Sports Council, Ronnie Grizzani's, baby, because it's the real deal Holyfield. And there's a commissary, the one in Germantown, the original, and they got a new one out in Collierville. Check everything out. And thank you very much for our SEC Media Day sponsors. But it is time to talk with Terry Davis. Terry D, how is life treating you on this beautiful Monday?
Man, life is great. How about you, my brother?
Man, I survived the weekend. Buried myself in a bottle of Tito's. But guess what? I came out on the other side, and now we're at SEC Media Days. Life is good again. So tell me a little something, man. Before we get into this NBA Finals, before we get into all the crazy stuff, you got any Memphis sports news you want to drop on my head?
Nothing really right now, but Penny's going to announce his decision on Jermaine Johnson probably by the end of this week. He's going to name Jermaine as his next assistant, or he's going to name a new person to replace him.
Ooh. Now, I got some Memphis news. Did you know Cody Topper was coaching a basketball team right now?
I did not.
Yes, he's actually coaching in the tournament. What is it called?
The basketball tournament.
TBT is all I see.
Everline Drive.
3-on-3.
Nope.
Okay, cool. Okay, the basketball tournament. I got you.
Close, but hey, the basketball tournament. Did you watch any of it this weekend? Because I don't feel like you did.
No, I watched it, but I always watch it with the sound off because I like the way it ends. I love the ending of the basketball tournament. I just watch it with the sound off, smoking a cigar, just sit back chilling.
Man, by the way,
it was on.
Gabe says that every time he sees you, you got a big old fat drink in your hand and a cigar. What's up with that?
It's called Jamaican beer, and it's called a Red Stripe. That's the big beer that's in my hand. Thank you. The cool, refreshing summer drink.
I like that. Got a little Jamaica going on. Now,
throw a lime in it?
It doesn't matter. The lime keeps the flies away, but I'll take it either way.
This is Terry Davis. He joins me every single Monday at 1:30. He's at TerryD515 on Twitter. Check him out. He's the only person in all of Memphis I know I can ask a hockey question, and he actually knows the answer to it. Plus, he covers the Tigers, everything NBA, and the first and foremost, what we really got to get to when we stop playing around, and that is this series. Has it completely switched? Is the Bucks, do they have all the momentum? They've won 3 games in a row. Everything looked after the first 2 games. Everybody was crowning Phoenix Suns. Suns and 4 fan was super famous. Chris Paul was being talked about as a top 5 point guard of all time. Ayton was coming out. Devin Booker. Everybody knew his girlfriend was not Caitlyn, but Kendall. This thing was getting serious, and now it looks like people are saying it's all about Giannis. It's all about Middleton, Drew Holiday, and the Milwaukee Bucks. What says you, Terry Davis?
You know, it's funny how like a 3-minute span could change their whole narrative, because Phoenix was in control of Game 4, and they should have won Game 4, but they let them off the hook, you know, and they let them off the hook. So
yes,
that's why everything is going there, because Phoenix should have won Game 4 and should have been up 3-1. Then they would have been on the virtue of winning. And now the thing is flipped. Now it's 3. You know, Milwaukee's in control, and they're not losing at home tomorrow night. They're just not doing it.
Okay, so you're with me. You know, the Bucks are 9-1 so far in the playoffs. I believe they go to 10-1, and they close this thing out. I can't imagine. I mean, Milwaukee, can you imagine what the scene's going to be like? Game 6,
yes.
you were going to win the finals. And I was listening also to Eli. My man Giannis has been the most improved player. He has been a 2-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, MVP of the All-Star Games. Once he gets this chip, what does that do for him and the way his peers view him?
You know, every time you get a championship, it at least remove part of the narrative that you're not good enough, you're not doing what it takes to win a championship. But once you win one championship, even in the case, you look at Aaron Rodgers, he's won a championship, but people they're not as hard on him if he didn't win a championship. So once you get a ring on that thing, it makes your life a whole lot easier in the life of media and Hot Take University.
You know, one championship does just so much for your career. And the thing is about how young Giannis is, and I also heard this, and I asked this earlier to Gabe. Back in the day, do you remember the comparison LeBron? I used to hear this a lot. Maybe you didn't hear it. If you didn't, I'm going to tell it to you. But people used to say LeBron James was magic in Karl Malone's body. He can do everything, but he was so big. He's so physical. He can bang you down low. He can come out here. He can shoot everything. Is Giannis magic and Kareem?
That's I don't know. Because you're putting him like the best of 2 players combined into one.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't go that far, but he does have some good tendencies of magic of playing of low post, and he has some good passing ability. But he doesn't dominate a game like Kareem did, or take over a game like Magic did. You know, so he's good. Don't get me twisted, but he has some of the characters of both of them. But I wouldn't make them a mix-up of those 2.
Oh, man, come on. You know I love mixing people up, man. I'm stressing with you. Right now, though, is this for you, though? Is this more to you? Is this about Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks, or is this about right now the Phoenix Suns and Chris Paul and company collapsing? Which is the bigger storyline?
See, I'm not a negative person, and, you know, it takes a team to win, because if Drew Holiday didn't do what he did in Game 5, and if Middleton didn't do what he did in Game 4, all the stuff that Giannis did would went on the wayside, because it's a team effort, because it's a team game. You know, even Michael Jordan in his heyday, you know, he couldn't do it by himself. So I don't think it's a collapse thing. I think it's more of a team effort by Milwaukee, because Milwaukee, coming into the season, were more favored to win it than Phoenix were at the start of the season.
So what, by the way, can you explain to me, man, after that first quarter, Phoenix is up 16 points. You watched this game, I'm pretty sure. I was sitting there. Now I'm the one who does these stupid things. They were up by 16 at the end of the first quarter. I changed over the game, checked a couple of baseball scores, blah, blah, blah. I come back a little bit late, and I'm like, what the bleep's going on? Phoenix can't hit the broadside of the barn, and Milwaukee's just rolling. How can you have such a bad second quarter, give up so many points to Milwaukee Bucks, play so bad defensively, and you couldn't hit the broadside of the barn in the second quarter when you're at home?
You know, one thing all coaches said, when a team gets rolling downhill, I don't care who that team is, When they're hot, there's nothing you can do about it. Because in the second half, from the midway from the second quarter to the rest of the end of the game, Milwaukee, everything they threw up went in, and Phoenix just couldn't get stops. It's not like Phoenix stopped scoring. Milwaukee kept scoring, and they hit at a higher clip. You look at their shooting percentages, that's what the difference in the game is.
Man, and the percentages for everybody are both off the dead-gum charts in this series, which is absolutely crazy to also think about. The other thing is when you look at the bench play, if you just told me that Bobby Portis was going to come in there, have 9 points, you got Pat, who's playing really, really good, by the way, had 14 points, was 4 of 6 for three-pointer. That's really, really good. But you go and look at the Suns, man. You got Cam Payne coming in there playing 15 minutes, -4, only had 6 points. He had 4 rebounds, couple assists. You had Craig come in there. He didn't do jack. And then Johnson, who I thought maybe needed to play a whole lot more minutes, he was just bad the other night. He just wasn't quite the person he was. Yes, he was 2 for 2 from downtown, but in 22 minutes, he didn't take a couple open shots, missed a couple easy assists. I thought if he would have dropped it off. It's kind of weird when you look at the difference in the bench, but it's all about star power. But right now, who's got the stronger bench, Coach Bud or is it Monty Williams?
Coach Bud, because, one thing that, Coach Bud don't get credit for, his team being real good defensively. Mm-hmm. And what they decided to do is, okay, we're going to let Booker do what he does, but we're going to shut off Payne and these other Johnsons, and we're not going to let the others beat us. And that's what a lot of good coaches do. They think, okay, Devin Booker, you can go for 50, but we're going to shut down everybody else, and we're going to take it from there. And that's what they've done.
A quote for Terry Davis to keep in mind for the rest of your life: don't let Johnsons beat you, brother.
Don't let the Johnson beat you.
Don't let it beat you, my friend. Now, one other thing before I let you go, and don't forget, this is Terry Davis. He joins me every single Monday at 1:30. By the way, thank you for joining me while you're on vacation. I hope you hit the ball long and straight. Did you play any good golf?
Of course I did. And it was warm. I'm going to play some golf today, too, at 4.
Really?
If it don't rain.
Man, you are living the life right now, TD. I appreciate it. Smoking cigars, drinking Red Stripes, playing golf like it's going out of style, and talking with me right here at 1:30. All right, before I get off this subject, you just go ahead and make your prediction. Is it very simple? Is Giannis, if they win in Game 6, is he the MVP for the Bucks? No questions asked.
No questions asked, period. Don't even think about looking at nobody else because he's been consistent in this equation. Drew came here and there. Middleton was up and down. But Giannis was consistent throughout.
Man, Giannis is going to have one of the most decorated careers in the history before the man's 27 years old, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is just flat out balling. Terry Davis is a flat out baller. I appreciate your time so much. Terry, be easy and don't ever touch that dial because we're talking with Brett Norsworthy on the other side. All things SEC Media Days as football just keeps getting closer and closer. Be blessed out there and hit them long and straight, my brother. That's Terry Davis. We'll be back in 2 shakes, but first I got to say thank you very much to Central Barbecue. Are you hungry? Go to eatcbq.com. Make your reservations right now. Order online if you want to. Ship that barbecue anywhere in the world or stop by one of their 4 great locations. You got the new one on Poplar, the original on Central, the bad boy on Summer, and don't forget we got you covered downtown as well, right behind the Civil Rights Museum. Central Barbecue, where smoke is their sauce. They have the best ribs, pulled shoulder, pulled pork. They have the best everything you can think of. I mean, they got turkey, they got wings, they got chicken, they got everything. Plus their turnip greens, mac and cheese, and barbecue beans are out of their mind. Go to eatcbq.com. Don't forget, check them out for catering events, whatever you need. And of course, all locations across the Mid-South are covered. Don't you dare touch that dial. Brett Norsworthy's next on Sports 56 98.5 FM.
Sports Time with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage. Factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello. There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com. Here once again is Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour on a very muggy day in the Mid-South. But you know what? We're all glad to be alive and we're living. And guess what? Football season's getting closer and closer. We got SEC Media Days in full effect today. You got Florida, Dan Mullen, LSU at Orgeron, South Carolina, Shane Beamer. All kinds of good stuff going on. But we got our very own Brett Norsworthy, who's every single day from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock on Sports Times. Wolo and Stats. Brett Norsworthy, how's life down in Hoover?
It's going good, John Radio. John Harden, Mr. Radio, going really well. And we have had the start of SEC Media Days today, and we're really glad to be here. And our sponsors, we thank you so much. I got down here, and I'm going to get safely home. I pray because of the great people at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Go see Scott, go see Drew, go see the whole team down at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Belly Acres in Regalia, Golf Sticks Pretzels, Jason's Deli, Memphis Tourism Sports Council, Mossy Oak Golf Club, Ronnie Grisani's, and the two commissaries, the commissary in Germantown and in Collierville and at Jason's Deli. Let Jason's Deli do all the work so you don't have to. Let them cater your event. Locations at Park Place, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch and Cordova. Breakfast, so fresh, so healthy. Lunch, terrific. The manager's special, the sandwich trays, hot fresh meals that taste great at dinner. Whether you're feeding 5 or 5,000, go to jasonsdeli.com. Again, locations in Park Place, Olive Branch, Poplar and Highland, and Cordova. A commitment to quality for all three meals, jasondeli.com, and the best sweet tea in Memphis.
Oh, yes, that is the truth. Brett Norsworthy down in Hoover covering SEC Media Days. He's going to be busy all week long, and he's got you covered from 3 to 6 today. Plus, he's joining all of our programs as he joins me now. First, I want to know one thing. There's 8 coaches in the Southeastern Conference, and you would probably be able to remember this. Because we didn't have because of COVID last year, we didn't have SEC Media Days. So this year you have 8 new coaches. Their very first SEC Media Day: Shane Beamer, Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, Mike Leach, Clark Lee, Sam Pittman, Brian Harsin, and Mr. Eli. Kind of curious, is this a big day for these coaches that it's their first time, or is it just, hey, it's just part of the process and they aren't really thinking too much about it?
I think it's a big day for Shane Beamer because it's the first time as a head coach. Eli Drinkwitz had experience. Lane Kiffin, look, Lane Kiffin been around the media block his whole life, from his dad to being at SC. So even if he had been here last year, he'd been here with Tennessee. So no biggie. Same for Mike Leach. You almost wonder if Kiffin and Leach, if anything, really bothers them. Sam Pittman last year would have been, but first year, so he went through the whole year. Look, if you've made it through a year of COVID, whether it's Zoom or conference calls or whatever, that's like dog years. That's like 10 years. I mean, last year aged all these guys. So I don't think the head coaches with some experience that this matters as much to them as a Shane Beamer that's in his first coaching job. But They all have to come through here. The new coach Lee at Vanderbilt may be a little, but had NFL experience. So these guys are all pretty savvy to the media world and kind of know the world that they exist in.
And plus, when you have Ed Orgeron as one of the guys, the second person to take the podium, after he goes, you have to feel a little bit more comfortable. You're like, you know what?
If he can speak in front of a crowd, anybody can.
That's exactly right. But I want to talk about Dan Mullen coming out trash talking right off the start.
Of course.
What do you think about it? I mean, it's gone viral on Twitter. It's all over the place. People are hyping up. But was it really a big year, like a big thing? They said basically, can you do this? Georgia, being the team to beat in the SEC, the SEC East, yada yada. I don't know the exact question, but he said, didn't they say that last year?
Yeah. Yeah, but even in his years at Ole Miss, and I know it was just a lot. I mean, it was a lot from school up north to we own this state. We're never going to lose again. He backed up a lot of it, and at Florida, he's backed up a lot of it. Now, I would never say we're never going to lose to this team again because you play a long, long, long time, and rivalry games, a lot can happen. But Dan Mullen, it's unvarnished. It's what you see is what you get, and I don't think he cares of the backlash. I don't think he cared last year at the backlash when he correctly said, I don't know what A&M's calling half full, but that's not half full because they had a stoked crowd, and then he went out and wanted to have the same crowd at the Swamp for his team, and then they had the COVID shutdown, had the year of years, and he kind of had to pay for that a little bit. But what you see is what you get with him. I don't think he's very bashful, and is never going to be, and one more good coach.
He is a great coach, of course, and Florida's always had a good offense. Dan Mullen, when he was at State, had a great offense. Now he's at Florida, he's had a great offense. But, man, you lost Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask, Kadarius Toney. Is this Florida offense going to look totally different, or is it just going to be another one of those Dan Mullen offenses he just keeps plugging and playing?
He'll keep plugging and playing, but it will be different in the dynamic of Kyle Trask, the kind of the quintessential pocket statue guy, although he could slide very well against some pressure. But Emory Jones is much different than that. He's made more for the modern game that we have, the run-pass option type for the quarterbacks. But he did lose a lot on offense. And when I saw Kyle Pitts on Ole Miss opening day last year on September 26th, toward the end of the month, but it was opening day for Ole Miss, I said on postgame, I said, we won't see Kyle Pitts next year because he will be the first tight end, and here's his name called at the NFL draft, and he was.
Gosh, and he is a absolute beast to run that fast, to be as big as he is and have hands like it.
He's really not a tight end. I mean, you're not using him as an inline blocker, extra tackle per se. He's really that hybrid that the good tight end for the Saints, was it Jay Graham?
Oh, Jimmy Graham, baby.
Jimmy Graham. And remember, Jimmy Graham's agent really fought the designation at free agency for him being labeled as just a tight end because the money's different. And Jimmy Graham fashioned that position. And now for the tight end, John, why don't you – everybody's got to go out there and get that guy. It's the biggest guy on the team with speed, with the best speed for that size on a team, because if he wasn't that fast, they'd have him at defensive end. If he was any slower, they'd make a tackle or guard out of him. If he wasn't that size, they would have him out at wide out. So you got to go out and get that where you can run right down the middle of the field now and know that no defensive back can launch at you. They can't be a projectile at you.
Yeah, and that's also true. And by the way, also, if you try to hook him up with a linebacker, he's going to run past you unless you are Devin White.
Like Gronk does.
Yeah, like Gronk does. Unless you are, though, Devin White. That is one of the fastest, baddest linebackers ever to play.
Or any of those Tampa Bay linebackers.
Yeah, they are pretty sick, aren't they? By the way, though, I got to ask you this. Do you like Max Johnson or do you like Miles Brennan? LSU has a big old situation this year. All the stuff that's been going on off the field. If they can actually play well on the field, a lot of people down in Baton Rouge and all over Louisiana and all those different parishes, they kind of forget about the off-the-field stuff. Is Ed Orgeron and LSU going to be able to compete for the West, and who's their starting quarterback?
You got to love those good people down there. They're a little bit by their football like they are by their politics. They don't get too hung up on some of the more puritanical stuff the rest of us get hung up on. If there's a little indiscretion here or a slight abuse of a rule there, they don't really get that hung up on it. Can I say both for those quarterbacks? Miles Brennan was off to a great year last year in the biggest shadow in the history of LSU quarterbacks. Having to come in behind Joe Burrow, Joey Football, Joey Heisman, fresh from Buckeye Land and what he racked up. And Miles Brennan was off to a great start. Now, their defense was struggling, but Miles Brennan didn't play defense. He wasn't responsible for that, John. So then they used two different freshman quarterbacks and settled on Max Johnson, the southpaw, the son of Brad Johnson, who was a great Brad Johnson was a great basketball player in the old Metros days at FSU as well. I don't know if he played at Tully Gym, but he didn't miss it much. But he was a right-handed quarterback, son's left-handed, and has a feathery touch. The day of the Ole Miss LSU game, December 19th, just 6 days before Santa Claus doing his thing, we're at Tiger Stadium. It felt weird. It felt odd. But what a quarterback show that day for Corral and Max Johnson just laying those passes in there. And Max Johnson showed some toughness, too, and took some hits. So I don't know who they start first. We got T-Bob Hebert on with us about 5:30, son of Bobby Hebert, and a popular talk show host in Baton Rouge and knows and played at LSU for Les Miles, played an offensive line. He will visit with us about kind of who's going to sort it out, who gets that first crack with the first team when they go out there in August.
You know, and today is a big day. Like you said, you got Florida, LSU, South Carolina. I don't know much what you're going to get from Shane Bieber, but I am kind of curious. You know, tomorrow you got Georgia, you got Ole Miss. On Thursday you got Auburn.
Got Tennessee tomorrow. Don't leave out our volunteer friends tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to make our volunteer friends. But those three teams I mentioned, they're the only ones who brought their quarterbacks. JT Daniels, Matt Corral, Bo Nix, they're down at Media Days.
Good catch.
Great. You know, I mean, the quarterback, everybody and their grandmother wants to talk to them. They're the face, basically. They're somebody that everybody knows.
Yeah, they are. They're bringing the stars tomorrow, and also Kentucky tomorrow. And let's remember that what Mark Stoops has accomplished right now in tenure and current job in SEC. Nick Saban's 1, Mark Stoops 2. The job he's done at Kentucky is remarkable.
Man, you aren't lying. Brett Norsworthy, follow him at Brett Norsworthy on Twitter. Make sure you listen every single day from 3 to 6, especially all week long, as he's down in Hoover, Alabama at SEC Media Days. He's going to be joining all the shows. He's going to join me every single day at 1:45 right here. And again, thank you so much to our SEC Media Day sponsors, All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch, Belly Acres, Golf Sticks, Pretzels, Jason's Deli, Memphis Tourism Sports Council, Mossy Oaks Golf Club, Ronnie Grisani's, the Commissary in Germantown and Collierville. That's my buddy Brett Norsworthy. We'll talk to him every day at 1:40 from Hoover. Coming up next, though, we got my good buddy Jake Crane. He's from the J-Boy Show. All things SEC, all sports, no politics. That's the way he plays his game. Then don't forget, we got Hardwood because it just feels so dead-gum good.
And some other college football news around the city of Memphis. 2 Tigers. It's watch list season, Johnny. Did you know that? Yes. Calvin Austin III has been named to the watch list for the Maxwell Award, and Quindell Johnson, safety, has been named to the watch list for the Bednarik Award.
By the way, we're also going to talk Mike Irving. He rips the Cowboys. We're going to talk a little Ray Allen. And did you know there's a guy that was he was doing the opening ceremonies. He's a composer. He had to quit because he was bragging about what he did to a disabled boy. This is a crazy story. Things that are coming in from Tokyo right now, and I ain't talking about the cardboard beds. I'm talking about some wild stuff. That's going to be hitting Hardwood, but don't forget, next is Jake Crane, the J-Boy Show. We'll be back in 2 shakes on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
We all need that great snack on the course, at home, or on the go. Golf Sticks Pretzels Twist hits the spot. STIX. Go to golfstickspretzels.com and order now. The company is in West Point, Mississippi. Buy by the case, 3-ounce golf sticks, 12-bag count, 12 individual 3-ounce bags for $24. Buy by the case, 3-ounce case, 36-bag count, 3 ounces per bag, $42. In all the area golf shops like TPC Southwind, Spring Creek, Miramichi, Memphis National, Timber Trust, and of course at Old Waverly and Mossy Oak Golf Club, with the company right there in West Point, Mississippi. Guaranteed a birdie in every bag. They provide a delicious, healthy snack for athletes, fans, and it promotes the great game of golf. Proven to be the best tasting pretzel, Golf Sticks Pretzels coated with specialty seasoning, paired with a buttery crunch that will power you through any season. Make it your second golf bag. GolfSticksPretzels.com, STIX, a birdie in every bag. GolfSticksPretzels.com.
Hey everybody, ready for a new Chevy or pre-owned Chevy? Olive Branch is where you want to be. All-Star Chevy has new Silverados and Tahoes coming in. And if you're ready to sell your car, truck, or SUV, All-Star Chevy will buy it, even if you owe on it, and even if you don't buy one of theirs. Or you could just bring the title and get your check today. Spread the word, people. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Collierville, not Mount Moriah or the Pike, it's Olive Branch. So find new roads to Olive Branch and All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
The truth is, before all this even started, people tended to social distance themselves from me when I was eating at Central Barbecue. Once I get elbow deep in some Central Barbecue ribs, it's always a good idea to keep your distance. And now that this is going on, Central Barbecue will always be practicing social distancing and counting on you to do the same. We all want to get back to normal, but right now, if we all want to enjoy some delicious Central Barbecue, we're also going to have to at least act like we care about each other. We're looking forward to seeing you at Central Barbecue. Just, stay about 6 full racks of ribs away.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again is Johnny Radio.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. SEC Media Days, they have kicked off. You had Florida's Dan Mullins already talking some smack. Ed Orgeron's up there talking. We're going to find out from Jake Crane and the J-Boy Show how many words he could understand that came out of Ed O's mouth. You have Shane Beamer. You have 8 coaches, by the way. 8 coaches who are going to have their first day at SEC Media Days. Beamer, Kiffin, Heupel, Leach, Lee, Clark Lee, oh my goodness, we got to talk about him. Sam Pittman, Brian Harsin, and Eli Drinkowitz. Tons of stuff to get to, but first and foremost, I got to thank my good buddy Jake Crane, and I'm going to bring in him right now because, Jake, I got to know what's going on with your Twitter account. I can't find you on Twitter.
Yeah, man, you got to go to @JBoyNotes. Saturday night, we got hacked. The first time. I'm surprised it hasn't happened before this. They're supposed to be working on it right now and getting it back up. They've been pretty responsive, but we all know they're not the fastest workers of all time. So it should have that up, but everybody can don't unfollow that one. You can go to @JBoyNotes, JBoyNotes, and got hacked and then had the guy try and sell it back to me. If I ever run into him and get my hands on him, it's going to be a good time for me and a bad time for him, but that's a story for another day.
Ooh, I like it. Them fighting words, and we've been hearing fighting words already from the start. Dan Mullen came out and basically was like, Georgia's the team to beat this year. Didn't they say that last year? I like Dan Mullen's personality. He already dropped the gauntlet. They have to replace Kyle Trask, Kadarius Toney, and Kyle Pitts, the absolute freak of football from last season. What do you think about this Florida team? What do you think about Dan Mullen's moxie? And do you think he actually has a team that can compete in the East?
The first off with Dan Mullen, obviously you're going to be confident, winning the East last year, but look, deep down in places he doesn't want to talk about. He knows Georgia's roster's loaded. He knows how talented they are. What they've done in the transfer portal defensively, bringing in Tyke Smith, bringing in Darion Kendrick, is going to really supplement what people thought was going to be a weakness on that Georgia defense. Now you parlay that with Nakobe Dean in the middle of that front seven, Jordan Davis, and some of the other guys they have. Georgia's defense should be elite again. The difference, in my opinion, is having Todd Monken and JT Daniels together. I think it gives Kirby a little monicum of relief, and I think they're going to open it up on earlier downs, play a little more vertical, and really, I think you're going to see him pass to run a little bit. I think it's going to be different than what you've seen because Kirby's ready to take that step. But no, listen, I understand being confident. You can't coach without having an ego or being confident. I think Florida's going to finish 4th in the East. I've said that on multiple occasions. Their defense, they got Judgment Day Week 3 coming against Alabama. Offensively, there's no way they're going to be able to replicate what they've lost. So, Dan is doing what he's going to do and saying what he needs to say to protect his kids and fire them up. But at the end of the day, all that stuff goes out the window on the first snap. It all changes when you get hit in the teeth.
Yes, it really does. I can't wait for things to get kicked off. I mean, the fact that SEC Media Days are here, it's the unofficial, official kickoff of the season kind of for me. This is when you start reading all the stuff. This is when I really start listening closely to the jboyshow.com, do this podcast. Don't forget, by the way, just because his Twitter's down, it'll be back up. You can check him out at JBoyNotes. And then at the jboyshow.com, at the J-Boy Show, we'll be back as soon as they fix the hack. But you can listen to all his work on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube channel, and, of course, the jboyshow.com. Jake, before I get into more SEC Media Days, I love to give you a shameless plug. What do you got popped up on your website right now?
Oh, man, we dropped our one-on-one with Billy Lucci, well, really one-on-two, with Billy Lucci and David Nuno at Texags, talking Texas A&M, the quarterback battle over there. We talk everything SEC West, too, but I want people to understand, just because you click on there and you see a guest maybe from Texags, it doesn't mean we're just talking about Texas A&M. Obviously, we're going to talk Texas A&M, but I love getting perspective on other schools from guys at other places. That's what I think, adds a big element to the show. So we talk Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, all that stuff to get different perspectives. Got some great content coming. Eli Drinkowitz is coming on Thursday. Very excited about that. Now, what we're going to do the next couple days is we've just interviewed, Buck Ballou and Tony Barnhart and all these guys, Jordan Rogers. So we're going to drop out a show that has about 3 different segments in it to give you a taste of everything. And I actually just got off an elevator with Shane Beamer and had a nice little talk with him as well. So check us out, at the jboyshow.com. We've got great merchandise as well that's cheap and nice. Not cheap, in cloth, but cheap in price. So, no, I appreciate the plug there, JR.
Hey, no problem. And you mentioned Jordan Rogers. Does anybody have any, does anybody have the how do I say this? The gusto, the cojones to ask Jordan Rogers about his brother in the Green Bay Packers?
Well, me being a brother, and I try and stay out of the kind of the political realm or that realm. But look, there's a question, and they've talked about it before. Their relationship, in my opinion, isn't exactly, Bonnie and Clyde. But when you look at it, it's interesting. I've had Mike Tannenbaum on the show, these other guys, talking about that situation. But somebody's going to ask it. In a 4-day span, somebody's going to shoot their shot.
Yes. Speaking of shooting your shot, who's your favorite Johnson? Is it Jimmy Johnson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or is it Max Johnson down at LSU? And who's going to win? Who's going to win the quarterback battle for Ed Orgeron and LSU?
Yeah, well, I trust Max Johnson a lot more than Johnson & Johnson. But, at the end of the day, I look at that offense. I talked with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert today about that. We're going to drop that a little bit later as well. And look, Miles Brennan was really good last year before he got hurt. But I look at this Jake Peetz offense, which I think is going to be a blend a little bit of what Joe Brady wanted to do from a spread, philosophical and grass standpoint, and with what Steve Sarkisian is doing, a lot of inline motion, a lot of tight motion, your orbit motion, understanding the middle of the field, the intermediate part of the field. And I feel like Max's ability to run, whether it's blending in the RPO, whether it's running the zone read, whether it's running the Q power, makes that defense accountable on a different level. Now, will he start the first game of the year? I think he should. That's a big question. I understand what Ed's saying, and listen, Miles was undefeated and this, that, and the other. But I think going into fall camp, Max has the lead, and I think the team's behind Max, especially after what he did in Gainesville and throughout the end of last year. So I think it should be Max Johnson.
We talked about it a few times on here. I know you like Max Johnson. Miles Brennan, though, he played really good. Unfortunately, it's injuries. But, man, is it got a lot to do with basically who the new coordinator is and what he wants to do? Because, let's be real, Johnson can move the pocket a lot better than Miles Brennan.
Yeah, I think it's a direct correlation because, look, as a coordinator or a head coach, you're always trying to put your best players in the best spot that fits the system. And Max Johnson is a guy, in my opinion, that fits the system of Jake Peetz and DJ Mangus a little bit more. I think he's able to extend the play a little bit more. You look at guys like Keyshawn Butte and some of the other guys LSU has out wide. They've got talent all over the place, but it just gives you that extra element, because everything doesn't go to plan. You sit here and you draw up plays and you got a good idea what you're getting defensively, but a lot of touchdowns aren't ones that were just drawn up perfectly. You have either a guy extending a play, you have a busted coverage, you have something like that, and when you have a guy that is mobile, that a guy you can sprint out, especially on 3rd and short, something Dan Mullen loves to do at Florida, if you've seen, it just adds a different element to your offense, and the biggest part is it makes the defense have to prepare more, and when you have to prepare more things, you're more spread out as opposed to being able to focus on one thing. That's why we always talk about balance, but the more spokes you add to the wheel, the faster the car goes.
Speaking of how fast the car goes, Jamar Chase is gone. After going 15-0, winning the national championship, you had Joe Burrow win the Heisman. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was running like a madman. You had a very low season, but it was a COVID season. Do you who out there for LSU right now is going to strike absolute fear in a defensive coordinator?
I always look at the quarterback and build it back, but LSU is not benept of talent. I think I may have just made that word up, but I look at what they have. Thank you. It flows pretty good. But, with Butte, with what they have in the backfield, the biggest question to me is not the skill position, to be honest with you. It's the offensive line at LSU. I have the same question at Florida. You ask a bunch of LSU fans, they're somewhat worried about the offensive line. And then you lose Dare Rosenthal, the left tackle, to Kentucky, who's going to be an NFL guy and just adds more to my Kentucky's going to finish second in the East argument. I was glad he ended up going there. So now when I look at LSU, they're always going to have skill guys. What has separated LSU and what separates championship teams is what you have up front on the offensive defensive line, because it's a lot easier to hide a bad secondary with an elite defensive line than it is to hide an elite secondary with a bad defensive line, and it's a lot easier to be an elite running back with a great offensive line, and you give a guy time, and that's why Mac Jones looked like the second coming of Moses last year.
Yes, that's exactly right. Now, I got to also ask you this. How did Ed O today avoid sexual assault investigation questions? How did that happen? Is it just the fact that, hey, it's the SEC Media Days, we're not talking anything else other than sports? Did he dodge a big bullet today? Because I thought that was going to be something that came out, and I was wondering how is Ed Orgeron going to handle that question?
Yeah, what I'm interested in that whole situation is because there's a lot of moving targets. I was surprised, honestly, that it didn't get asked or somebody didn't kind of mention it. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be honest with you, just being here, I think everybody's so ready for football season and being able to have SEC Media Day and stuff like this. You just want to talk some ball. And there's so many storylines about LSU on the field this year going into the season, and I understand the off-the-field stuff. And I want to make a point about that. And listen, if any of this stuff's true, it's ridiculous. I'm not condoning anything that happened. But sometimes fans think differently than the locker room thinks. Sometimes they think, all this outside stuff's going on, it's going to really affect the team. Where you see that affect the team negatively is if you don't start off good. That's typically when it starts coming because it's a built-in excuse. But sometimes an Ed Orgeron's the type motivator where all that stuff outside can upset everybody in that long room, and it brings you so close together that it makes your team better and more dangerous. And I think Ed Orgeron, it plays exactly into the type guy he is. He's not a guy that's going to go up there and draw a bunch of offensive schematical stuff that's going to win. He understands how to coach the D-line and the front seven, but he is a heck of a motivator, and he can get that locker room fired up. And if they think it's us against the world, LSU is a scary, scary team come September.
I know that you actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, you have them pick second in the SEC West behind Alabama. When you look at their schedule, the Bruins, I'm not necessarily scared of them. Their non-conference schedule is not very scary either. You have Mississippi State, you lead off in the SEC. Their schedule sets up very favorably for a young quarterback to really get going. By the end of this year, could they be reeling off tons of wins, and then next thing you know, in November, Alabama, LSU, where everybody's freaking out?
Well, I got them second in the West, and I actually have them tied with A&M from a record standpoint, but they get A&M the last game of the year at home. I think they beat them to even the record, therefore giving them the tiebreaker. But look, if LSU starts out well, if they go out to UCLA and play well, and they get into that beginning of the schedule, you get Auburn at home, you go through it, it does set up pretty nicely for them. I think it is very, very feasible that they end up finishing second in the West. And I understand I've talked a lot about A&M. I love what A&M has, but you got to look at the schedule. The schedule dictates a lot. The personnel dictates a lot. The schedule dictates a lot. And then injuries throughout the season. You never know what's going to happen, so you got to look at depth. So, no, I think it's very feasible, Johnny Radio, that we look up in November and LSU's having a pretty good year.
Everybody's about to get exposed to Shane Beamer, of course, South Carolina's new head coach. The first time he's been a head coach in his career. His dad, of course, in Virginia Tech. He was over at Oklahoma. What type of team? Because when I think of his dad's team, I think of defense and special teams. When I think of Lincoln's teams and OU, I think of scoring. What kind of mixture did he get from basically his father onto just his coaching career and spending time at OU? What do you expect from Shane Beamer?
Well, listen, you're beholden to your personnel year one. The transfer portal is what it is. Anybody that grades somebody in the first year, it takes at least most of the time 3 cycles to really get in the guys that fit what you want to do. But where Shane is smart is that he is not stubborn. He's not in the old stubborn cupboard of, well, this is how we're going to be regardless of who we have, whatever, because that's how you end up going 4-8 the first year and kind of putting a bad taste in people's mouth. He's smart enough, like Jimbo is, like Kirby I think is going to be this year offensively, to be malleable to not only the players he has around him, but the coaches he has around him. And when I had him on the show, it was funny. I asked him, are you a CEO-type head coach? Are you hands-on, whatever? He's like, I'm still figuring that out. He's like, it's the first time at practice I've been able to just walk around in different groups instead of being in charge of a group. So a guy that is honest and modest like that, you see why he's getting all these recruits. You can tell that he's honest. But listen, the personnel just isn't where they want it. I think with the way he recruits, it's going to be. So I don't expect a big year. I think if they make a bowl game, that's a fantastic year for South Carolina, especially with how tough the East is, even though it's nothing compared to the West, in my opinion. But don't be surprised if you look 3 years down the road and South Carolina is starting to make some noise at the top of the East. And never forget, the best job Steve Spurrier ever did was winning 33 games at South Carolina in 3 years. That's an incredible stat, but when I look at Shane, he's got some of those same ingredients, but he's also smart enough to let his coaches coach. I love the hire then. I love the hire now. And, last year, guys, not to be too long-winded, if you take Shi Smith and Kevin Harris off that they got nothing. They got nothing offensively.
Yeah,
and, that's the personnel they kind of have this year. They got Kevin Harris. I'm telling you this. I'm going to tell you guys, I like Nick Muse at tight end, but the Marshawn Lloyd kid, they thought he had a chance to beat Kevin Harris out as a true freshman before he tore his ACL in fall camp. So watch out for those two.
Two
they just
tight
don't
end
have
sets
enough.
a lot.
Well, it's Marshawn's a running back. So
That's right.
I think you may get a lot of 20 personnel, a lot of 21 personnel, which is 2 backs, 1 tight end. I think you're going to see that a lot because Shane's smart enough to run what his personnel can run until he gets his guys in there to really do what he wants to do.
All right, just to stay in the East and kind of stay on Shane Beamer, does he have more potential to be a Mark Stoops or a Jeremy Pruitt?
Mark's obviously done a lot better job, but I think Shane's got a chance to. I think Shane's really got a chance to be a guy that coaches at South Carolina for a long time, and they're able to sustain success. I'm not saying South Carolina's going to win the East every year. I mean, you look at the monster that Georgia's built over there, but to be respectful, to look better on the field, to be more competitive and win some of those games, sneak up and beat Georgia and sneak up and beat Florida. And if you look at the fan base that South Carolina has and you look at where they're at and what part of the country, you can win at South Carolina. People that say you can't win at South Carolina need to take a trip down to Coastal Carolina, which isn't far down there. It's a great place to be. The fans love ball. And at the end of the day, I think Shane is a guy that's going to be in this league for a while, and I'm going to enjoy watching him have success there because I think they're going to sneak up on some people.
I think that's a very good take right there. Shane could be there for a long time. His daddy spent a long time at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, he did.
Not?
Beamer ball, baby.
Beamer ball, man. Now, the other thing is tomorrow we got Georgia, Kirby Smart. We got also he brought only 3 teams brought their quarterback. That was Georgia and JT Daniels, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin. He brought Matt Corral, and of course Brian Harsin at Auburn brought his buddy Bo Nix. Tomorrow you're going to need to hear from 2 of those quarterbacks as JT Daniels, Matt Corral. They're going to take the stage. They're going to talk. How interested are you hearing these 2 guys speak?
Oh, man, well, I'm wondering if Matt Corral's going to leave the meeting with about 350 passing yards somehow. I don't know if he's going to throw the mic to people, but knowing Lane in that offense, he'll probably be the player of the week. But no, I always love picking quarterbacks' brains that prepare the way they do. And here's what I mean by that, Johnny Rady. A lot of the stuff that fans see and people see, outside on game day and how good it looks and how good they're throwing the ball and the timing and the chemistry, it doesn't happen by accident. I mean, these guys have to prepare. It's like Rosetta Stone. It's like learning a different language each week. And the guys that are able to prepare, diagnose, dissect, and destroy different coverages, reading leverages, understanding if it's 2 high or 1 high and what they like to do, understanding when the corner likes to creep. Is he inside leverage because it quarters or is he outside leverage because it's cover 2? And being able to understand the intricacies and the amount of tape and the time it goes in. Take away the physical ability, which we know they both have, and I love Matt's escapability. I love being able to sit down with those guys and talk about the preparation because that's at this level what separates. When you have 2 athletes that are the exact same, I used to tell my DBs this all the time. When you have 2 athletes that are the exact same from an athleticism standpoint, 2 things stand above: coachability and preparation. And if you do those 2 things, you have a chance to separate yourself, no pun intended, from the rest when you have an elite group of players. So that's what I enjoy about those 2, and very excited to get. I saw JT the other week at a golf tournament, had a good talk with him. JT he prepares with heart. He's still a Cali guy, man. You look at him, he's loose, he's relaxed, and Matt Corral is too. How crazy is it, Johnny Radio? We got Matt Corral and Bryce Young and JT Daniels, both from California in the same high school, and Matt Corral's also from California, and those are the top 2 quarterbacks we have going into the conference. And you just take a look around. A lot of people are coming from this West Coast to come down here to play big boy ball.
Yeah, and that's what the SEC is. It is big boy ball. They are the top dog in college football. SEC Media Days are finally here. They're official. We've already heard from Dan Mullen, Ed Orgeron. We got Shane Beamer taking the stage soon, and tomorrow we got Kirby Smart, Mark Stoops, Lane Kiffin, and Josh Heupel for Tennessee. But I got to ask you, because you've coached, you've done everything. Now you're doing the JBoyShow.com. Go to the J-Boy Show. Listen to the podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Check out the YouTube. And don't forget, right now you can check him on Twitter at JBoy Notes. But don't forget, at the J-Boy Show, we'll be back in 2 shakes as soon as Twitter fixes a little bit of a hack. But I got to ask you, Clark Lee, because you coach football, he says that everybody has to earn their number. Now, I saw some video of this. All their football players were out there, helmets, shoulder pads, jerseys. They had their pants on, their cleats. They all look the exact same. How hard of a job is Clark Lee making it for his offensive coordinator, his defensive coordinator, those who are breaking down film? Hey, dude, did you see Peterman? He was running really well. No, that was Johnson. Like, dude, what is Clark Lee doing? And did the two players that he brought down there, have they earned their jersey numbers yet?
Yeah, well, there's a couple ways to look at this for me, and I found this interesting. And I think I know why he's doing it. Does it make it a little harder to evaluate the film? Yes, but I think he really wants the coaches to know the guys, not by their numbers, because there's nothing worse as a coach and a player than when you're out there in fall camp and you've got a guy that's busted his hump for you for months and you're running guys into each other and they're physically beat up and they're tired and you say, hey, number 42, come over here. That's disrespectful. And I think that may be something that he wants to either nip in the bud, or maybe I'm just overthinking it, because I can think of no other reason why you would do that, because if I'm a GA over there, I'm having to call the hotline every night just to make sure I'm all right, because that would be miserable trying to tag who did what and where. But I do think there may be a method behind the madness. And look, at Vandy, you got to do something. You can't just sit up there. I used to laugh when Vandy would get up there and run the power in the ISO and just get destroyed because they're playing against better players. You got to do it a little bit different at Vandy. This isn't a debate club, which they'd probably be the Bama of that, but you have to go about things in different ways. And you know what? Good for Clark Lee in trying it. We'll see how it works out and see if the guys really understand who's where and doing what.
Jake Crane down in Hoover, Alabama at SEC Media Days. Just got to ask you, are you having a lot of fun, brother?
Oh, yeah, man. It beats working for a living for sure.
Sure does.
No, you know what's crazy, Johnny Ray, is being on this side of it. You know, and I don't really consider myself like a journalist or a media member. I think I'm just a football coach that can sit back and watch and talk about it now. But it's so interesting being on this side. And like I said, I mean, you know, me and Shane Beamer, Coach Beam, were just in the elevator just laughing, you know, about recruiting. Because he was like, hey, man, I appreciate, you know, the shout-outs on recruiting. I'm like, look, dog, I know how it goes. I know all the pressure you're under over there. But being on this side of it's interesting. And you know what's crazy is I'll actually get, Johnny Radio, to watch football on Saturday. I'll actually get to watch it on Saturday. That's something, you know, I haven't got to do a lot. So I'm excited about that, man, and excited about coming on here as usual, brother.
Man, I got to tell you, thank you so deadgum much. I hope you have a blast. I can't wait to hear what you put out on the podcast this week. I mean, today you had Florida, LSU, South Carolina. Tomorrow, Georgia, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Wednesday, you get to hear from the man, Nick Saban. Then it's going to be weird. Like, Nick Saban's being followed up by Mike Leach, two polar opposite guys. Like, that's going to be kind of fascinating for me. Of course, Texas A&M, Vanderbilt. And then you wrap things up with Arkansas, Sam Pittman, Auburn's Brian Harsin, and, of course, Missouri and Mr. Eli. Dude, do me a favor. Have a blast down there. And do me one more thing. Plug what you got coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, man. Tomorrow, like I said, we're going to have kind of a segmented show. We've got 3 or 4 different guys on there. Like I said, Jordan Rogers. We've got Trevon Reed from Auburn. Very excited about that. Just talked to Buck Ballou from Georgia. So, you know, we like to mix it up. We're going to throw those out there. We're going to continue to do that. And we've got a studio set up in the hotel room, and it's going to be called Let's Have a Drink. So we got T-Bob A-Bear and Hester and them getting up there. We're just going to chop it up and talk some ball like we would at the local sports bar, and I think that's what people want to hear. So check us out at JBoy Notes right now on Twitter. Don't unfollow the JBoy Show Twitter. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm going to call Jack Dorsey to get this thing fixed. But if that's what it takes, I'll fly out there to California, throw a mask on, and get it fixed. But no, Johnny Radio, I appreciate it, brother, as usual. And Mike Leach and Nick Saban would have the best podcast in the world if they did one together.
Oh, that would be so dope. Hey, Jake, you take care of yourself. I appreciate you again, and I'll talk to you down the road, brother.
Always, brother. WHBQ for life, dog.
That's my buddy Jake Crane from the J-Boy Show. Check him out on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, YouTube, and, of course, right now it's at J-Boy Notes because he got hacked at the J-Boy Show on Twitter. Am I curious? I haven't ever been hacked, or I don't think anybody will. Gabe Kuhn, I don't want to get this twisted. I'm not trying to say Jake Crane did any of this, but do you think he went to one of those dangerous Twitter accounts? Have you ever been to one of those dangerous Twitter accounts?
I can't say I have.
Oh, that's so...
Explain more what you mean by that.
Come on, man. I don't really have to explain this, dude. You know,
I'm not good with context clues. Just
all right, so
enlighten me.
Let me see. The first one I pull up. Well, see, I can't say this. Well, it's basically Twitter porn. Have you ever heard of that?
I know what porn is. And if it's Twitter porn, I'm assuming it's porn on Twitter.
Yes, exactly. They're little.
There you go.
They're little quick clips. If you ever watch one.
Okay, well. You think it's about time we get to break and come back? I think it's about time for Hardman.
I'm an investigative journalist. I'm making sure I check these things out so people don't get the virus.
Oh, wait. You're an investigative journalist. That's why you're checking these accounts out.
Only to help the
How
young
about
people. And I got to thank one more thing. Thank you so much to our sponsors, All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch, Belly Acres, Golf Sticks, Pretzels, Jason's Deli, Memphis Tourism Sports Council, of course, Mossy Oak Golf Course, Ronnie Grisani's in the commissary in Germantown and Collierville. And the whole first hour was brought to you by the Gatlin Agency. The whole second hour is brought to you by Tito's. Tito was like the best vodka on planet Earth. It's crafted right here in the United States, down in Austin, Texas. It has a unique flavor, slightly sweet with a black pepper note, balancing everything out, whether you're crafting a cocktail or you're drinking it neat. Get your Tito's on. And by the way, when life hands you lemons, just make a lemon drop. Make sure it's with Tito's handmade vodka. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies. We will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? Five-Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five-Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hey, Bubba, thanks for selling my house.
Hey, Bubba, thanks for selling my house. Everybody knows Bubba.
That's me, Bubba Sandifer with Emmett Baird Realty. I'm a member of the Multi-Million Dollar Club, and I'm also in the top 10% of producing agents in the city. Call me today for a free, no-obligation market evaluation of your home. 901-319-0747.
Are you putting your house on the market? I have your hustler. Are you looking for your dream home? I have your man. Hey, Bubba, RE.com. That's HeyBubbaRE.com. Bubba Sandifer, Emmett Baird Realty.
Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981, 0.9% MSRP, $20,685. Sportage in 79.79.540, 0% MSRP, $26,060. K5 NGO 950.54, 0.9% MSRP, $25,840. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again is Johnny Radio.
Welcome into a little Sports 56 happy hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. It's a beautiful Monday, and yes, it's the Monday that SEC Media Days has started. Our good buddy Brett Stats Norsworthy's down in Hoover. Jake Crane's down in Hoover as well. He joined us in the last segment. Brett's going to join me every single day at 1:45 all the way up till Thursday. And, of course, we had Terry Davis on a little bit earlier. This whole segment I could do, I bet you $1 million, Gabe Kuhn. I'm not going to do it to all the people. But I could do a complete Olympic Hardwood. Straight up Hardwood, all about the Olympics and what's coming out of Tokyo. Because there's some pretty funny stuff. There's some disturbing stuff. There's some sick stuff. And there's some stuff that would make me say, like Bishop Bullwinkle says, hail to the no-no, to the no-no, hail to the no-no. I ain't going, yo. They ain't serving booze. There's so many other reasons. Plus, there's a acceptable E. coli factor over there we got to talk about as well.
You know what they're still doing, though? They're giving out 350,000 condoms in Olympic Village.
Yeah.
Still happening.
By the way, that's for use when you get home, by the way. So
yeah, you're not supposed to use it at Olympic Village.
It's supposed to be like you take home these.
It's to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS.
It is to raise awareness, but how cool would it be to come up and pull out like a prophylactic that had the whole Olympics insignia on it? Do you think that's a deal closer?
It'd be really cool to pull it out.
I think that's exactly what I'm talking about, Gabe Kuhn. We're about to get into one of my favorite segments. We got Norway's handball team. They got fined for a reason. We've got a composer who is let's just say he's got, I would call him a finkelphiliac. He's very disgusting. Plus, speaking of feces, we'll talk about the Olympic pool in Tokyo and how disgusting that bad boy is. And we won't even have to get into the beds if I have enough time. And then I have other stories, other great stories. But we're going to get to all that in just a minute. But before, I have to remind you something very, very important. It is Hardwood, and guess what? We always have a sponsor, and Frontier Western Store has you covered. If you want to look styling and profiling, go to Frontier Western Store at 5880 Goodman Road down in Olive Branch. They got the largest boot showroom, the largest boot showroom on planet Earth. Plus, they have all your jeans, and they are waistline friendly. So if you got all that junk in that trunk, don't worry about it. Go down to Frontier Western Store. They got you covered. If you're skinny as a rail, don't worry about it. Go down to Frontier Western Store. They got you covered. Plus, they got a kids section, ladies boutique. They got everything you need. If you want to shop 24/7, 365, just go to frontierwesternstore.com. Let's go to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Definitely starting with the Olympics, Gabe.
All right, fair enough.
Now, the first story I'm going to talk about is absolutely disgusting, disturbing, and children, put your earmuffs on. Put your earmuffs on because I don't think you want to hear about this. But did you know the Olympics, they had a composer who wrote a bunch of music. Well, they're not going to play his music anymore, and the Olympics is starting on Friday. So they have to rewrite a whole bunch of stuff. Do you know why? Because their composer, his name is Kigo Yomihara, he went out and he was a bully to the nth degree. In fact, he bragged about making another child in his class eat his own feces. Is that something that you would brag about on a television interview?
No.
Do they just do it different in Tokyo or what?
Sounds like it.
Well, he's definitely not going to be a part of the games anymore, as are most of people, because everybody in Tokyo or everybody across Japan right now seems like they are boycotting the Olympics. Things aren't going very well. Plus, we've had our first bout of COVID, non-athlete. We've had Coco Gauff get COVID. We've also had an alternate from the gymnastics team. Keep Simone Biles away from her. So I got to say, we got COVID issues. We got a crazy composer. We don't have anybody over there. You can't even drink beer in Olympic Village this year. If you're selling beer, are you sitting there just thinking to yourself, well, we just lost a ton of money?
That's sad, man.
Dude, what? That's almost
they're gonna be
like
locked
jail.
up in their. They're gonna be locked up in their rooms.
What's the difference in jail right now?
A little depressed, away from their family for a month.
I'm telling you,
and they don't even get to drink beer on their off nights.
Sad
stuff.
If you got money in your commissary, I think jail would be a lot easier than right now going to the Tokyo Olympics. You know, you can get you some Funyuns. You can get some, some Snickers bars.
You like
cigarettes.
Funyuns?
No, but when you're in the Clank, it's better than anything they serve, and I can promise you that. You don't want some shank and wet bologna sandwiches. That's just from watching TV.
So not first-hand experience.
Not too much.
Not too much.
Not too much.
Only a little bit.
But now, speaking of the Tokyo Olympics, I've already talked to you about the composer who got fired because of how nasty he was. Did you hear about this, Mr. Gabe Kuhn? Norway's handball team is getting fined for refusing to wear skimpy bikini bottoms. Did you know that was going on?
Wait, what?
I'm dead serious. So when you play handball, you're supposed to stay like
you can't wear shorts?
No, you have to wear bikini bottoms. This is a rule, brother. This is a rule. So I didn't know this was a rule, but it's actually a rule. And each team member is going to get fined $1,500 if they don't wear their skimpy bikini bottom. How do you feel about this? Because
I'm confused by it. I don't get it. Why? Why is it like a rule?
Because it's beach handball. You're in sand, so they want you to look like you're beaching it. Like, do you go and wear shorts to the beach, Gabe?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're men. Never mind. Does your girlfriend wear shorts to the beach?
No, but, I mean, if she decided she wanted to wear shorts, I don't know why it would be an issue.
As long as they were shorts? She wears shorts. No, this is not even a joke. They said that they have regulations uniforms, and that's how they're justifying the fine.
Wait, so here's my question, though. Does it, is there an advantage you gain by not wearing the bikini bottoms?
Yes, NBC says viewership.
What? That is not okay.
I'm just being honest with you.
That's not okay, though.
By the way, Norway has come out and said this is ridiculous to force our teams to wear bikini bottoms, which makes them unnecessarily sexualized. You think this would get a little bit more pub than just here on Hardwood, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would think.
Yep.
Like, they're saying viewers, so they need them to be sexualized so they can get viewers.
Correct.
That's uncomfortable.
I'm sure it's uncomfortable.
That's incredibly uncomfortable.
But go and watch television tonight and tell me, never mind, just go and watch TV and do a little investigating yourself. Like, have you ever seen, that show, The Bachelorette? Did you notice that they're always in hot tubs and stuff when they're doing their interviews?
Yes.
It's not like they're sitting there in a three-piece suit and the lady's in a nice, evening gown. They're hanging out with booze all by a bikini and a bunch of pools. Sexualized. That's what TV is doing to everybody. Unbelievable. Now, speaking of the Olympics, do you know how nasty the Olympics are this year?
How nasty?
Gabe Kuhn, did you know that this year, this is the first time that they say that they can find this ever anywhere, but the Olympic pool has a tolerable E. coli. Like, there's a certain, they can have enough E. coli as long as it's just a little bit dangerous and not, life-threatening. They're okay with just a little E. coli. Do you know what E. coli is, brother?
It's actually it's a bacteria. It doesn't naturally occur in your stomach though, but if you ingest it, it's you can die.
Yes, correct.
Foodborne illness.
Dude, all I know is I don't want E. coli in my pool. And do they not have chlorine? You know what I mean? Dude, don't you know what chlorine is?
Yeah, it disinfects the pool.
Throw some more chlorine up in that joint. Come on, what's going on, Tokyo? Get it straight. Could you imagine Michael Phelps having to swim through E. coli and he comes back and he hits the bong and almost dies because of bacteria in his stomach? That'd have been horrible. Horrible. You know what else is horrible?
It's a stretch.
Did you hear all those people saying that the Olympic beds are made out of cardboard because they didn't want sexual encounters in the Olympic Village?
How do you make a bed out of cardboard?
Well, let's see.
How does it stand?
I got a picture of it right here.
I can't imagine that I could lay myself in a cardboard bed and it stay up.
These are Olympic athletes. If you notice, they're kind of skinnier.
Well, but I mean, some of them are big.
Oh, yeah.
Like the people that throw shot put,
New Zealand weightlifting girl.
Weightlifters?
Lauren.
They're 400 pounds.
Yes, you're right. Okay. Well, let me tell you something. All I know is my man, Riles McClanahan, he says for all those people out there who are saying it's a no-sex hypothesis, he debunked it. He went out there and videotaped himself jumping up and down on these cardboard beds.
I thought that was going to go a different direction. I can't lie, buddy.
No. He was by himself.
Good, okay.
No, it wasn't
okay, never mind. He was jumping up and down on the cardboard bed.
He said, you'll be shocked to know, but these cardboard beds, he said, they can hold up under the pressure. So, thank you, Mr. Riles. I appreciate you coming out and say that. But he said basically it's BS. These frames are, he said, these frames can withstand not only your own body weight, but two people jumping up and down. And then I'm just going to leave it at that. So,
nice.
He's debunked that bad boy. Are you proud of him?
Good for him, yeah.
I'm very proud of him.
Are you proud of Rich Paul?
Is he the one who snuck in the bottle of tequila for LeBron James?
No, he didn't. But he's got a new girlfriend.
Is that
they were spotted? They were spotted at Game 5 of the NBA Finals and at the basketball tournament over the weekend. Adele, yes.
Sing
Adele.
a song for me.
Oh gosh.
I need a song. I need a song that she does.
She sang "Someone Like You."
I don't know that one. Sing the song for me. Give it in your best Adele voice.
I can't do it. Her voice is incredible, man. Come on, I can't live up to that.
You think Rich Paul is sitting there thinking to himself, man, do you think he has her sing? Like, sing to me, baby, I'm in the shower.
But this is confirmed that they're an item now by Brian Windhorst, of all people, on his podcast.
Well, they were seen making out at the
They were seen making out?
Well, I mean,
they were sitting next to each other.
Oh, no, I got a picture of them kissing. I mean, I call that making out if it's frozen. It's like their lips are still together. You know, I can't tell if there's a little tongue action or if it's just lips. I can't tell. But Adele and Rich Paul, living life large. Now, who snuck in the tequila bottle for LeBron James?
I don't know. Do you have the answer?
I don't have the answer. I just figure it was probably LeBron James. Like I'm LeBron James, yo. This is how I roll. Did you know LeBron James was big into tequila? I know he's trying to, like, he's got money down in a new company, correct? Probably. He's got money all over the place. He is King James. Do you think he was drinking tequila during Game 5 because he knows how bad his movie is? Looney Tunes, whatever. What is it called?
I love Space Jam: A New Legacy. I find it hilarious that, like, people give it, like, a legit... And I know film critics have to do their job, but, like, giving it a bad review, it's like, what did you expect? Like, this is not built for anyone over the age of 10 to enjoy.
I was asked to go to Greg Gaston called me and said, hey, you want to go see some Space Jam? And I said, like, our combined age is over 100. No, we are not going to Space Jams, dude. Did you hear about his weekend?
Did y'all plan a good dinner before it, too?
No.
Wine and dine?
No, we did not. I'm just joking about that because...
Hey, they got Houston's right over there by the Malco, by the Paradiso. Y'all
Yes,
coulda,
they did.
Y'all could have got dinner movie.
Back to LeBron James, though. How dope is it that he can actually have an entire bottle of tequila just sitting under his seat? Do you think there's anybody else in the world who could sit courtside at an NBA Finals game and have a full bottle of tequila underneath their seat?
Do you want honest answer? Yes.
Honest answer?
100%,
Who?
yes. I mean, there's a lot of other celebrities who could probably get away with that. They saying anything to MJ?
It's a great... You know what? No, you better not
Shaq?
say anything. Shaq, Chamberneezy. No, okay. You're doing... Actually, you know what? You're making some
Yeah,
really good
making
points.
some good points. Yeah, Drake could do it, get away with it.
Drake
I'm sure.
cannot. Did you know that he's
Easily.
still dating that mom?
That doesn't. What does that have to do with him not being able to get away with having tequila under his seat courtside?
Nothing much. It's just interesting to me. Very, very, very interesting
You
to me.
couldn't get away with it, though. I can say
No
that.
kidding. I can guarantee you that. I'd be locked up and thrown in jail. It'd be horrible. Now, things that are also horrible. Did you see what happened at the Washington Nationals game?
Very scary. Very scary.
I got to give a lot of credit to Will Myers, Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado. There was a lot of other players who were doing this as well. But there's a great clip that was on, what was it on? The Sports, not Bro Bible, the other one like it. Sports Not or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's clips everywhere on Twitter. You go check it out. There's gunfire. Everybody in the stands are freaking out. It's a very scary situation. By the way, 3 people were injured. The shots were right outside of the Nationals Park. But Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis are yelling up at the stands to come down here, and they were showing them exactly where to go. And they filled up the ball players' locker rooms with people in the stands to make sure they were all right. Fernando Tatis was asked about it, and he's like, dude, when the situation goes down like that, it ain't ball players and fans. It's just all about as many lives as you can save. Now, luckily, it wasn't, one of those horrible mass shootings or anything of that nature, but it was a very scary scene. And you just saw, like, there was a couple clips where I saw some parents grabbing their kids, holding them down. That would have scared the bleep out of me, man.
It was luckily outside of the stadium. 3 people injured. I don't think there are any deaths involved. So, I mean, you got to consider that a lucky situation. But, yeah, scary, scary stuff.
Did you hear about, one person was found shot because they were an innocent bystander. Did you hear about the 2 people who an hour after this showed up with gunshot wounds and tried to say that, I accidentally discharged my weapon and went through my leg and into my buddy's leg? And of course, the police showed up and they're investigating more. But Don't you have to come up with a better excuse or drive to another complete town or state? Don't you got to suck it up, bucko? Like, if you go to you're busted now.
Don't show back up.
Don't show
like,
back
just sort
up.
of hide for a little bit. Go to the hospital, maybe.
Yes.
Handle yourself.
Handle yourself. Now, did you see a baseball get thrown at an individual this week?
That made me mad. That made me more
Alex-
mad than I should have been mad about it because Alex Verdugo was throwing a ball up into the stands to a young Red Sox fan. A young Red Sox fan, and a dumb Yankees fan gets in the way, catches it, and throws it right back at his back.
And he hit him.
Stupid.
By the way, I hate to say it, he might be a ban from Major League Ballparks, but the Yankees bullpen could probably go and sign that guy because the Yankees bullpen hasn't been able to throw a strike for a long damn time. They don't even know where the ball is going. This Yankees fan, he hit Verdugo right in the back, man. But that was absolutely disgusting, and I have to say, it was classless.
Okay, I got to say this, though. They banned him from any MLB stadium for life, basically, the fan. How do they hold that up? How do they make sure he doesn't get into the Orioles park or
America's Most Wanted? Do you remember you used to put up the pictures? Now you go into a ballpark,
but
fans who are banned.
Really? Do you buy that?
I don't know if I can. You know what? It's a very great thing to put out in the press, but I don't know how you. Yes, you're right. You got 40,000 people a night coming in, dude. All you have to do is put on Have you ever seen Who's Harry Crumb? Dude. That dude put on
He's going to have the glasses with the mustache and the nose on it.
Have you ever seen the one where he had the mustache? No, wait, hold on. Harry Crumb went in there and there was a lady getting a mud bath. And all of a sudden his hair fell off and it fell into her lap. And then he picked it up and put it on his beard. If you haven't seen Who's Harry Crumb, brother, go watch it because it's hilarious. John Candy, oh my goodness, you're too funny. Don't you dare touch that dial. We're coming back to close things out on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy take you through lunch from 10 to 1 weekdays. Only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
You hear the phrase all day, every day. In these uncertain times, this. In these uncertain times, that. Well, in these uncertain times, one thing I know for certain, you want you some Central Barbecue. Central Barbecue is open for you to dine in or carry out, online orders and curbside pickup. And another thing you can be certain about is this. We are doing everything in our power to keep you and our staff safe. You can be sure that everyone working at any Central Barbecue is following every safety protocol there is, and they'll encourage you to do the same. Come on in and get some Central Barbecue. And yes, your face covering is probably going to end up with some sauce on it. A small price to pay for safety.
Tired of waiting on your sportsbook? Waiting for deposits and withdrawals? No more waiting with Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again is Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56. I am your buddy Johnny Radio. It's Sports 56 Happy Hour on a beautiful Monday. We got Brett Norsworthy. He is down in Hoover, baby. SEC Media Days in full effect. Today, you've already heard from Dan Mullen over at Florida. Ed Orgeron of LSU. Shane Beamer has taken the podium at South Carolina. Tomorrow, we got Georgia and Kirby Smart. Kentucky's Mark Stoops. Ole Miss in the lane train, baby. He also brought Matt Corral, Tennessee's Josh Heupel. Just want y'all to know, Big Orange Nation, we're going to really, really be bad. Next question. That's going to be all on Tuesday. On Wednesday, you got the man, you got the Sabinator, Alabama leading things off, and Nick Saban, followed by Mississippi State and Mike Leach. I think Jake Crane made a very good point. Could you imagine a Nick Saban, Mike Leach podcast? How weird that would be. One, I don't know if Nick Saban would say much. Except for shut up, Mike. Shut up, Mike. Might be a good podcast, might not be. You also have, that's right, Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher and then Vanderbilt's Clark Lee. Did you agree with what Jake Crane said, Gabe? That maybe he's just trying to get his coaches to know his players. Is Jake Crane overthinking this? Or is every GA and person that's breaking down film right now pulling out their hair because Vanderbilt football players don't have numbers on their jerseys?
I'm open to suggestions on why he's doing it. I think it's ridiculous to say that he needs his guys to earn their numbers. Whatever. I mean, do what you got to do. But I do know for a fact that they have misidentified several guys on film. Film evaluation had to be hell for them in the spring.
Yeah, you think so? By the way, just kind of curious, do you think the two he brought down there, Bradley Ashmore, the offensive lineman, and Davion Davis, their defensive lineman, did they earn their jersey numbers by at least coming to SEC Media Days?
I want to know what number they are. Because if we have the O-lineman grinding for number 63, that's just kind of goofy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Plus, don't forget Thursday, Sam Pittman. Then you have Auburn's Brian Harsin. And, of course, Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz.
So we have some news coming down out of the NBA and the Olympics. More Olympic bad news. I'm sorry to bring it to you. But Zach LaVine has been placed in the health and safety protocols and will not travel with Team USA to Tokyo today.
Man, we've already got JaVale McGee. Like, how much better can we make this team? Like, seriously, what's going on? Who are they going to get now? Like, anybody?
Well, it says he's hopeful that
hopeful.
They're hopeful that he will be able to join the team later in the week.
I hope he will, too. I do hope so very much. We got day baseball, 4:10 Central Time, so you got about an hour and 20 minutes almost. You got to get your bets in. The Twins are playing the White Sox. We are not taking Chicago minus 220 today, but we are taking the White Sox minus the run line, minus 1.5. I think they're going to win by 4, 5, maybe 6 runs because they're going to beat the brakes off the Twins. Lance Lynn is pitching for the White Sox, and right now, Lance Lynn is the best pitcher in baseball that nobody's talking about. He's been around forever. He's pitched for a lot of teams, but he's 9-3 with a 1.99 ERA. Speaking of pitching, Jacob deGrom, a guy who I said if you had a MVP, like if you bet that Jacob deGrom could have won the MVP, you'd have plus 4,000. That's like what Colin Morikawa was this week at the Open. By the way, did you know how good Colin Morikawa is?
What was it, 31 holes, no bogeys,
yeah.
And did not 3-putt once he got to the green. And that's been his issue is once he gets on the green, can he finish? He's best tee to green, but the green has been an issue, but he was the best putter out there. at Royal St. George's.
He was slamming them home all weekend from 5, 7, and 14 feet, but he's only the second player to win the Open and PGA Championship before age of 25. Do you know the other one
And
is?
in his first try, too, at both places.
That was my next sneak attack. That was my little sneak attack nugget for you. Are you going to tell me who the only other person was? Do you know who it is?
Tiger?
Tiger Woods. You're exactly right. He beat Jordan Spieth, John Rahm, Louis Oosthuizen. What is Louis thinking, by the way? Is Louis having some sleepless nights this week? Talk about falling apart, brother. What were you doing? Were you looking at Twitter? I don't know. But anyway, last thing I'm going to tell y'all is the only players to win the Open and the PGA Championship before the age of 25 were Tiger Woods and Colin Morikawa. But there's only 6 golfers in the history of the game to have 2 majors before turning 25. Tiger Woods, Colin Morikawa, Jack Nicklaus, Roy McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, and then Steve Ballesteros. Do you know who Steve is? Me neither. It must have been before my time. Speaking of before my time, oh, man, if you got a big old fat house, then you're older than I am, or you're just a young .com millionaire. But if something happens to your house,